Yeah. See ya. Hey, what's up, fam? How's it going? This is Quanstar coming at you with another business of indie music. So I got a message the other day from a cat that watched my string of videos for how to book your own tour, and he basically asked me, how do you know when you should leave your job and do music full time? And that's a good question. So let me also tell you this: I've been doing music and touring as an independent hip hop artist for since 2001. You know what I'm saying? And so I do have insight into this. And I've toured with a lot of established acts, some signed, some not signed. So, and we've all had this conversation before. So this is not an easy answer to give, but I'm gonna answer it as best I can, and I'm gonna answer it based on what I feel, based on the criteria that I set for myself, right? So, first thing you have to understand is that touring is a long-term investment, and sometimes that investment pays off faster for others than it will for you. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes it'll pay off for you pretty quick and not as much for others. Sometimes it'll pay off early, lose money late, gain money back. You know what I'm saying? So I want to break that down to that. But let's say you are an artist, you had your thing going, you pumping it out independently, you doing your thing. You have a job or you have some sort of revenue coming in, and you want your music or your visual art or whatever you're doing to replace that. I would say what you should do is you would need to make at least 4 times the revenue that you make now to pay your bills. Why do I say that, right? The reason that I say you need to make 4 times the amount of revenue is because you have to understand, especially with touring, it's not a 365-day deal. You know what I'm saying? So really, you'll probably be touring, if you are lucky, if you are grinding, if you don't care about a social life or family or anything else, you're going to tour 5 to 6 months out of the year. You know what I'm saying? So that is a half a year that if you don't have a job or you don't have any other revenue coming in, that you ain't got nothing coming in. So you want to make sure, number one, you want to make sure you make twice the amount of money that you need to live, right? So that. Now, why do I say 4 times? Because there are things like incidentals, you know what I'm saying? Like things might break, your car might break down, you might need extra money, gas might go up, food and groceries cost more. You don't sit at home unless you're going to sit at home for 6 months. You might go out and have some drinks and do something. So you want to have you want to have a little comfort level there. You want to have not even comfort level. You want to be able to have some movement financially. So that is my advice from what they say from 50,000 feet, telling people about that. Now, let me give you my advice from 500 feet, what I personally live by. So my goal all the time is to have 5 streams of income. You know what I'm saying? And what do I mean by 5 streams of income? I mean, I need money coming from 5 different places, sort of for 5 different things, but I prefer it to be from 5 different places, right? And I categorize them like I need consistent, something that's consistent. I need something that can satisfy and be generated from short-term goals. You know what I'm saying? I need something that can satisfy and will be generated from long-term goals. I need something that's a long-term investment, and then I need quick cash for when things shit just go bad and I need some bread right now, right? So what is consistent? Easiest way I can refer to something as consistent money is basically a job. You know what I'm saying? And let me first say this, right? I hate working for people. I have not technically worked for someone for years. I haven't filled out a W-2 in like 5 or 6 years, but I do. I'm married. I have 3 children, 3 sons, beautiful sons, great and talented sons, and a lovely wife. I can't leave her out there, out of that. But um, I hate having a job. I despise it. The idea of filling out a W-2 depresses me. So I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? But I do drive Uber. I do drive Lyft. And this is a subcategory because, yes, Uber is one thing. It's consistent. But I have little mini streams coming from the consistent. So like I drive Uber. I drive Lyft. I deliver for Amazon Flex. I shop for Instacart. I shop for Shipt. I do whatever, you know what I'm saying? To maintain that consistent revenue. So I can do a lot of things. And why do I use those things instead? Like I use those, let me say this, the benefits, and this is another video that I'm gonna do, but the benefits of things like contract gigs, we all know what the cons are, right? The pros is that I don't have to request time off. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to ask permission to go to do what I need to do from anyone other than my wife. You know, I don't have to check anyone else's calendar but my family's. So I like it from primarily um, from that point alone is worth it. But it's consistent. You know what I'm saying? I'm not touring all year. You know, I'm not. So I need to be able to pay bills. I need to be able to provide a life for my family. I need to be able to fund the things that I need to do in order to make more money. You know what I'm saying? So that's the consistent thing. I guess that answers people questions. I'm like, you can leave your job, but what do you have that's consistent that can replace that? You know what I'm saying? Even like, let's say you do freelance work. Do some freelance work. Do you do enough freelance work to consistently pay your bills? And if so, make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Or can you do freelance work for that? The second thing is short-term goals and short-term revenue. So what do I mean by that, right? Short-term goals and short-term revenue pretty much go hand in hand. Let's say you have an album that's coming out, right? So which is a short-term goal. If you want to be in this for the long haul, your album is a short-term goal. You know what I'm saying? So your short-term goal, you're putting out an album. What is the revenue that you can generate from that album? And which the net revenue. So how much does it cost to put the album out? How much is your marketing going to cost? And how much do you think you can make versus that? That is your short-term revenue. That's number 2, right? Number 3 is long-term goals, right? So let's say, what is a long-term goal? Let's say your long-term goal is to pay off your student loan, right? Now, that isn't technically a revenue builder, but it is because that's a long-term bill that you don't have to worry about. Now, to be honest, I don't do bills with short-term goals. You know what I'm saying? It's all a long-term thing, like anything over 5 years, 5 to 20 years long-term, right? So If you have a car note that's over 5 years, that's a long-term goal. Get rid of that. If you have student loans, if you have a house, you know what I'm saying? If you are planning, put your, like I do, I have 5-year goals, I have lifetime goals. And I say, okay, my long-term goal is I need 11 albums in 11 years, or 15 albums in 15 years, or I need this, and this. And so 15 years is a long way to sort of get a hard projection, but you can estimate how much you want to make. You can estimate and keep adjusting how much it'll take, how much you'll have to spend to get to those goals. You know what I'm saying? For those goals. So you know how much it'll cost you to pay off your student loan. You know how much it'll cost you to pay your car note. You have a rough idea from already dropping an album, how much it'll cost you to put out your album. And then you figure out things, well, maybe I can record at my house. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do that. So that's long-term goals, right? Another one is long-term investment. Now, with long-term investment, your house is a long-term investment. It's also a long-term goal, which is tricky. Whichever one you want to put it there, like paying off your house. And if your house is paid off, even if it's not totally paid off, the equity that you earn within your house is an investment. So my long-term investments are like, your IRA, your 401k. What stocks do you have? If you are, what businesses are you owning or investing in? What are you doing long term? Another long term investment is your family. What are you doing for your, putting money away for your kids' education, putting money away for you and your wife's retirement and all that stuff. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then there's quick cash. So what do I mean by quick cash? Shit is going, excuse my French, shit just went all bad. You know what I'm saying? My car broke down. The house got flooded. Somebody robbed me. We need bread fast. How do you get it? You know what I'm saying? So for me, I have two ways. The first way is pretty much what every other American does, which is why we have a credit issue and about to hit a bubble and tank. We have a credit card. You know what I'm saying? And that sort of works as a quick revenue when we need something, when we need to fix the car, when we need to do something for the kids. That's really like spur of the moment. But also my consistent revenue with Uber, with Lyft, with Postmates. I forgot to talk about them. They pay that day if you need it. You know what I'm saying? So I have both of those set up. So let's say my consistent, and I separated actually. So let's say my consistent money, I'm driving Uber, and I've been driving Uber. I haven't toured. I haven't done anything this week. Haven't played any shows. So I'm going to drive Uber 40, but really I'm a workaholic. So I'm going to drive Uber 50 to 60 hours a week. Say something. That's the consistent money that takes care of our family, allows us to put some savings away, do all of that. But I need money. So what I'll do is I'll take a couple of extra hours and drive Lyft or run deliveries for Shipt, or vice versa. I'll be driving Lyft and do the same thing for Uber to keep it make. So that quick cash is very, very important. So for me, I need to always have those 5 streams of revenue coming in. You know what I'm saying? And music is a part of those 5 streams, but it doesn't make up for all of those 5 streams. It's 1 or 2 of them. You know what I'm saying? So when I have the 5 streams coming in and I'm consistently going after those 5 streams, investing in those 5 streams, taking care of those 5 streams, then it allows me to have the freedom to do stuff like this, which is an event that we just did, but we're doing again next month, called Music in a Meal, but get at that later. I'll leave the link to this in the description so you can check out the commercial that I just did. Another thing you could think about also with when I'm talking about freelance things, like producers, if you produce, that's like things that short-term goals to get you there. A long-term investment for a producer is, let's say a big name artist need a beat and you give them the beat, but you give them the beat with strings attached. Like, they have to give you credit. You have to get your BMI or ASCAP or CSAC or whoever you with. They have to list you. They have to mention you in the song. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that will, you can consider long-term investments with rappers. Say someone wants you to write a song and they write you a check for $2,000, $10,000, 500, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That is short term. You know what I'm saying? Because it can help. Let's say you started your own management company and you are you're managing artists. That's a long-term investment. So, I mean, I don't want to ramble on about stuff. I love talking. I could talk about this for like an hour, but I wanted to make sure that I addressed what the person that sent me a message was asking, and I hope I did. In short, to sum up this, which I probably could have summed it up in like 2 minutes, is look, don't leave your job unless whatever you want to do is going to make 4 times of what you're making at that job, so you can cover for the downtime that you will have as a creative. Also, me personally, from 500 feet, right? You should always have 5 streams of income coming in, or strive for 5 streams of revenue. You know what I'm saying? And those things are a consistent revenue, things that you're making every day and every week, short-term goals, which is your short-term revenue through your art. I forgot to say through your art, right? Your long-term goals and revenue, right? Which is your house and student loans paid off, or management, starting a business, whatever. Long-term investments, which can be those same things, but also goes with your 401k, your IRAs, your stocks, commodities, whatever you're invested in, cryptocurrencies, and then quick cash when you need something quick because shit is fucked up. This is Quanstar, and this is another episode of The Business of Indie Music. I hope that I answered this person's question. And if anyone else has any questions, go ahead and send me a message. You could send it through YouTube, or you can hit me on Facebook at Quanstar Music, Twitter at Quanstar, Quanstar, or Instagram at Quanstar1976. And also, I put a link to what drove this original question to my playlist of videos that I did on how to book your own tour in the descriptions. Well, that's it. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell and whatever other. My kids do it real quick, real good, and real easy. I don't, I just know how to record and subscribe and follow people. So go ahead and do that, and I'll holla at you. Peace.